This conference will now be recorded.
From your voice in audible. Hello. Good morning, bro. I'm not audible.
Right now we can able to hear. All right. So there are some other activities available inside the Azure Data Factory. If else activity and if activity we are going to filter activity. Okay, let me discuss about the web activity. Okay, so how to send a email notifications from your Azure Data Factory by using a logic apps. Let's say for example this is my Azure Data Factory. Let me log into azure.com. So by default inside the Azure Data Factory, we don't have a activity to send the email notifications. So that is the reason what we are going to do. We are going to take the help of the. So it's costing so much. Let me delete all the services. Okay, let me create a data factory now. It's already there, it is going to delete, but I'm going to create a new data factory.
Your screen is got stuck.
Ram, we are not able to see your get hang.
Create a new one. E classes project
Hello.
123.
Your screen is got stuck, Rangaru. We are not able to see the screen. It is not moving.
Okay.
Okay.
And ESTS location ADF E classes 435 version 2, and disable this Git repository as of now. Not review and create it. Click on create. Alright, so go inside. Okay, so let me take a simple wait activity. If anything got failed this wait activity, immediately I want to send a email notification by using a web activity. So for example, without wait activity also you can take it like a web activity. So how to configure this web activity to send the email notifications over here? So here you can see under the settings, you need to put a HTTP URL. URL means under the logic apps, whatever the app you are going to execute, that app URL you need to specify over here. That app URL you need to specify under the URL here. Okay, all right. So let me create an app first. So to create this app, so we need to pass some input parameter values in the JSON format. So those values I can get. Right. So this is the information we need to get from the Azure Data Factory. Okay. Let me create Azure Logic Apps. Go over here. Logic Apps. Click on Logic Apps. Click on Add. The resource group. E classes project 123 and logic app name. E classes 1 to 3 app created. I'm just creating one logic caps. Logic caps are predefined templates you can configure to perform such a workflow or the actions. Let me go to the basics. What I have selected here, standard and consumption. Okay, yeah, review and create it. Create it. What happened? Alright, so logic apps created. Simply go inside. So under the logic apps, Microsoft Windows Storage value cannot be null, parameter connection string. Okay. So let me click on browse. Just try to restart it. I think we have selected wrong one. Let me go back to the logic apps again. Click on add. It's a free trial version. The resource group is e-classes project 123, and instead of standard I'm going to select the consumption. Okay, logic app name e-classes app. Okay, right, review and create it. You need to select the consumption instead of standard. Create it. Right, simply go to the resource. All right. So what is a logic apps? Logic app as the building the integration solutions easier than our logic apps. It will bring the speed and scalability into the enterprise integrations. You can create a business process and workflows visually. So which one you want to do? From the Azure Data Factory, from here, I want to send a request to execute something. So which request you want to send? By using this URL HTTPS request. So whenever your HTTP request receives, you want to execute this logic apps. So first select this. Whenever the HTTPS request receives, I want to execute. And from when you are sending the request from here, what are the information you want to send? I want to send some parameterized information, nothing but this one. What is this information? What is your data factory name? To whom you want to send a email? What is your error message? Pipeline name and subject of your email. All that information I'm going to send from my Azure Data Factory web activity to here. Simply paste it. Okay. So this is how you can able to send the information. Then after you are sending this information, what is the next step? The next step is email configuration. So simply click on the new step. What is the new step is email send email. Yeah, so select the Gmail. Okay, so click on this. Under the Gmail, what kind of action you want to perform? I want to perform an action, send email action. Okay, so what is the connection? First you need to create a connection over here. I'm going to give you some name for this one. E-classes email. So sign into your Gmail. Click sign in. Okay, so try to log in from this e-classes. Click hello. All right. So to whom you want to send this email? The email I want to send, whatever the email address I am getting from my Edu Data Factory pipeline, this parameter value I want to specify dynamically. I don't want to hard code to which email address I want to send the email notifications. So simply you can add a dynamic content email to parameter, right? So where is that? Yeah, this one. So whatever the parameter value you are getting from your Azure Data Factory, that value will come to this JSON values, whatever the code I specified. Then immediately the same whatever the email to option available here, so that value I'm sending here dynamically. And so to whom you are sending email you have added. So any other parameters like I want to add CC BCC also you can, and subject. So what is the subject you want to add over here? The subject I want to add like what is the subject over here? Click over here again, and if you want to add any body, so you can add the body as well. Under the body, what do you want to specify? I want to specify under the body whatever the data error message. Okay, under the body error message. So this is fair enough to send the email notification. Now we can save this one, but before you are going to save, you need to, yeah, please save it. Once you are saving, HTTP URL will generate over here. See, so this URL you need to take and keep inside the Azure Data Factory under the web activity under this URL. That means when you are executing this pipeline, this web activity will execute, and whatever the URL you are kept over here, so that URL is going to hit here. Okay, that URL is going to hit over here. All right, now we can, if you are clicking on run trigger, it will execute. Okay, so let me go back to Azure Data Factory. I want to execute from here. So you have given this URL, but you need to pass some input parameter values to this JSON file. So how to put that one? So what kind of request you need to take here is, the method is a post request, means you are going to post something to this URL from your Azure Data Factory into this this logic apps. So what is the code body you need to specify here is, this is the body you need to specify. So data factory name, what is your data factory name? Data factory name you will get dynamically from the parameter. And pipeline name, what is your pipeline name? Subject, what is the error message you want to send? And the ADA pipeline has crashed, so please check the logs. Email to which email address you want to send the email notifications? I want to send boyaparty.ram100@gmail.com. So to this I want to send the email notifications. So simply take this one and go over here, put inside the body. Okay, put inside the body over here. Now we can debug this one. So once you are debugging, that HTTP URL request is going to hit this one, and once this is executing, then the next step, send email will execute. I am sending a web activity is going to hit this one, then immediately that is going to hit this one. Yeah, it has executed successfully. So what is the input we are passing here? This is the input we are passing to this HTTP URL request. This is your data factory name. This is your pipeline name, pipeline 1. The error message to whom you want to send email. That information we have passed. What is the output of this one? So this has send a email notification where you can check that one. So you need to check inside your, yeah, see, I got an email from the eClasses online trainings at the gmail.com. The EDF pipeline has crashed. Please check the logs. So this is how the email notification you are getting over here. So what are all the steps I did? First, I created a logic apps. Inside the logic apps, I have taken when HTTPS request URL receives. Then I kept this code, and then after I have taken another template, that is send email notification template. Under this template, we can able to email to, subject to, and error message. Okay. So by taking all this information, we are going to take this URL from the HTTPS request URL. Once you are saving, this URL will be generated. That URL you can kept inside this web activity. Okay, so now my requirement is I have a, so whatever the input parameter file I'm giving, whatever the input parameter file I'm going to give, I will take a new pipeline. All right, so the requirement is this is the scenario. So let's say, for example, I have a file inside the blob storage, and that file name I'm going to return like a file name in the sense like whether that file existing or not. If a file existing inside a storage account, then immediately I want to execute if activity, if else activity. Inside if else activity, if a file exists, execute the copy data activity. If file not exist, then I want to execute a send email web activity. So how to get whether a file available or not information? Either you can use validation activity or you can use get metadata activity. Get metadata activity. So this is copy data activity. You can use a copy data activity, or you can use, what is this one? Send email activity. Copy data activity or send email activity. So based on the input what we are getting, this is if else activity. So to implement this one, we need to use this copy data activity inside over here. All right, so again video stuck. Okay, so to implement this one, okay, in place of this copy data activity, I don't want to do, just want to take a wait activity because I want to check this if else functionality. Okay, so first let me take the validation activity. So what the validation activity will do, validation activity is going to check inside a blob storage. Let me take the storage accounts. So click on create. I just want to keep one file. If a file is not available, then send a email. A file is not available in that location, like that. Resource groups, e-classes project 123, storage account name, e-classes memory, review and create it. Change the name for this one. E classes memory 4567. Review and create it. Alright, so simply go to the resource. So try to create one container. Click on containers, employee container. So try to upload one file. That file name, try to upload this file. So if the file is available inside this container, then I want to proceed. So let me configure this one. Go to the settings, create a new dataset, blob storage. So what will happen if I'm taking validation activity? It will try to do the every 10 seconds reattempt until this time is reaching. Right? I don't want to do any reattempts. Simply I want to whether a file existing or not. I just want to check if the file not existing, then immediately I want to execute if else activity. Inside I want to check a condition. If file existing, then execute copy data activity, else execute other one. In that kind of situation, better you can take a get metadata activity. So get metadata activity is not going to perform any reattempts over here. Simply it is going to click on new blob storage, click continue, delimit a text file, click continue, and click on new, free trial, click continue. So try to browse for that file, employee emp.bangalore, whether this file available inside or not. So what you want to return from this one, the new fields if exist. Yeah, exist, whether that file exists or not, it will return. So let me debug. So what is the outcome is coming? Mm, 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 mm. Let me go to the data set. Let me remove the file name, then execute. Okay, let me take a child item. For example, inside that container, what is the child item? So let me debug it. It will give you the file name, whichever the file name available. So the file name is empbangalore.txt. Okay, so let me put a condition over here. One second. Okay, so let me take a if else activity, if condition activity. So just try to connect this one, and inside this if condition, go to the activities. What is a true and what is a false? So what is the condition you want to write down here? Go to add dynamic content. Whatever the expression you are writing, if it is true, then go inside and take a copy data activity. Then come back. Whatever the condition you are going to add here, if it is false, what is the activity you want to add? That is copy data activity, and I want to send a email notification, this web activity, but this web activity is in another pipeline I created. I want to reuse this one. I don't want to create web activities for every pipeline. So how to do this one? How to use this web activity, whatever I have inside the pipeline one, in other pipelines? Can anyone tell? So you can use the execute pipeline activity, right? So you can use this one and you can call that pipeline, whatever the pipeline one we have, it will execute that one. So similarly, when you are creating a pipeline 3 also, take execute pipeline activity and call this one. So you don't need to configure this one every time. I hope you understand. Okay, let me go outside. So what is the condition you need to write down over here? The condition what you can write down here is the count of the content. It is a true false actually. So what you need to return is, it's a true false. For example, this get metadata activity output dot child items. How to write down this one? So at the rate of activity, how to put this condition? Child items means it is going to return the count any so based on this expression, whatever it is returning, the value needs to be whether it is a true false. Whether it is a true false, we are going to use bool function. The boolean function I can show you. Yeah, convert the parameter value to a boolean. For example, the following expression returns a false, true, 0. Okay, let me do one thing. If let us see if parameter is there or not. If activity get made at child items equals to what is that? What is the file name? empbangalore.txt. empbng.txt. Then I want to return 0, else 1. Okay, so I want to convert this value into bool because you need to pass true false. Okay, right. Now we can debug it. Copy data activity we haven't configured, right? So instead of copy data activity, a simple activity I will take wait activity because I don't have time to configure this copy data activity. Just take a wait activity. Now we can debug it. Fail the pipeline. Okay, let us see what is the issue. Get method activity itself failed. Why? Let's see. EMP Bangalore. Okay, fine. Why it got failed? Validate. Yeah, validation success. Debug. Okay, issues. I will look on this tomorrow. So what is this condition issue? Then we'll discuss about this scenario tomorrow. Okay.